Just look at Peskov again. Barely 3 months ago, he said that the US was not the enemy, that Russia did not have any anti-American sentiments. But that has changed now. Why? Perhaps because of last week's escalation. Last week, the United States gave Ukraine a green light to strike Russian territory using American weapons. Ukraine has already begun doing so. They're using American weapons to strike inside Russia, and Russia is furious. Putin says Ukraine is striking Russian territory with the help of Western specialists.
The
missile strikes against Russia are done by the Western specialists. We have no illusions about that. What must we do in response? First of all, we will improve our air defense systems to destroy the missiles. Secondly, we think that if someone thinks it is possible to supply such weapons to a combat zone to strike at our territory and create problems for us, why do we not have the right to supply our weapons of the same class to those regions of the world where there will be strikes on the sensitive facilities of those countries that are doing this against Russia?
You heard what he said. Basically, Putin has threatened to turn the tables, to send Russian weapons to Western enemies. Long-range weapons that could strike sensitive facilities in the West. And this means that Western enemies could get the ability to strike them at will. It would be a security nightmare for the Western nations that are helping Ukraine.
In the end, if we see that these countries become involved in a war against us, what they are doing makes them directly involved in a war against the Russian Federation, we reserve the right to act the same way. Overall, it leads to some serious problems.
That was Putin's threat. But he isn't just...
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't think Putin had it in him. Seriously. Right? I really didn't. I didn't think he had it in him. They were talking a good game, but I didn't think they was prepared to back it up. I don't think the Americans did either. They keep making videos talking about putting out statements that Putin's bluffing. Now I was like, yeah, I don't think he's bluffing, but I don't know. I was a little skeptical until I was still a little skeptical. Let's just say that, right? Until today when they released these reports. So yeah, it looks like Vlad is going to run a special military operation off the coast of the United States. And we all know how that ended for Ukraine, right? When he started running drills off the... When was the last time Vladimir Putin was running drills? Oh, that's right. They were running drills off the border of Ukraine and Poland. Then what happened right after that? Oh, they bombed the shit out of Ukraine, if I remember correctly. I'm getting old, my memory, you know, it's not as good as it used to be. But if I remember correctly, they bombed the shit out of Ukraine, right? And started hammering their ass right after he announced after they announced the drills. So they ran the drills, and people were like, yeah, nothing's gonna happen. And then boom, he surprisingly went into Ukraine, started bombing the fuck out of them, and called it a special military operation. So now he's running a special military operation off the coast of the United States and the Caribbean. How suspicious. Let's see how that works out for the Americans. Those special military operations didn't go too well. Them drills and special military operation didn't go too well for the Ukrainian Nazis. I don't know. Maybe the American Nazis will fare much better. The Amer Nazi will fare better than the Ukrainian Nazis. Let's see. I mean, we'll find out in August. My bet is it'll probably be in July. Like they said, the drill, they're gonna move troops in, and they're starting now. They're moving the troops in, and you know, the aircraft carriers and the bombers, etc., are, you know, being shipped in now, and in preparations for the drills in August. Personally, these guys seem like they like surprise attacks. So my money is they're probably not going to drill in August. They're going to, if they can keep up the bullshit, they're going to strike them in July. I think I predicted that too, that they would strike in July outside of Ukraine. You can check my past couple of videos, but if I'm not mistaken, I predicted they was going to strike outside of Ukraine, like Europe and the U.S., in June or July, something like that. Looks like I'm going to be right. Because I doubt very seriously they're going to be like, yeah, we're just going to run the drills in August, and then actually run them in August and then attack after that. Because, you know, it gives up the surprise element. So my bet would be they're going to strike. They're going to be ready to go probably the second week in July, and right before August, they're going to strike the United States. Good thing is, here's some good, but it's not, I know people like, you're a Debbie Downer, Black Bodhisattva. I don't like watching your stuff. I got some good news. Wait a minute. There is some good news, and I'm going to give that to you. The good news is, they're only going to hit you with conventional weapons. So, there's some good news. There's a silver lining here, right? And so you're in luck. Now, will they have nuclear warheads on those hypersonics? Some of them, yes. But they did say it will start off conventional. So there's the good news, right? You don't have to think that I'm such a dark person. I don't want people to think I'm a dark person. I'm actually pretty optimistic, and that makes me feel better too. It kind of put me in a good mood. Like when he said we're only going to have conventional weapons, and I was like, okay, well that's cool. They're only going to strike, you know, the United States with conventional weapons, conventional Kinzals, right, stuff like that, hypersonics. And I was like, okay, well that's some good news. It's not nuclear. I mean, they're going to have nuclear, but they're not going to strike us first with nuclear. And the reason why that's good news, well, it's if you don't get killed in the first strikes, it's good news because you'll get to run. Just hope you don't run into a nuke, right? Or one of those Kinzhal hypersonics or something, right? So, like for instance, if they hit the base in Puerto Rico, which, you know, I dislike Puerto Ricans very much for good reason. I have, you know, which is cool. You know, maybe they'll smoke some of these motherfuckers I do not like. They'll be there on vacation from the United States, you know, and so, and they'll get hit up in the crossfire. But, yeah, so let's just say they hit the base. It won't wipe out Puerto Rico, as opposed to if they hit Puerto Rico with a nuclear hypersonic. Puerto Rico would be finished, because it would probably wipe out most of the island. You know, it would make the island pretty much unlivable. And just same with New York, or, you know, Baltimore, or Washington D.C., or Atlanta, or Miami. You know, I think there's some bases in Florida, and then, you know, Texas, places like that off the Caribbean. You know, toward like the East Coast. I think that's probably where they're gonna strike first. Will probably be like Puerto Rico, Texas, Florida, Washington D.C., New York, you know, around that in that vicinity, because hypersonics could smoke those places in probably 5 minutes after launch. So yeah, so the good news though is, if you're living in those areas during this special military operation, and you get hit with in your area you're in, if it doesn't strike your house and kill you instantly, and you don't live like within maybe, I don't know, a half a mile radius, you'll be okay. The other people, not so much. If you know what I mean? Like if you're at ground zero for those Kinzhal strikes, you know, and probably like a few, you know, I don't know, half a mile radius, you'll probably be dead. You know, or maybe not half a mile, maybe. Yeah, well, yeah, probably like a half a mile radius. There's a good chance you could be dead, right? Now, if it was a tactical nuke, it would probably wipe out half your city, or the whole city. Like if you hit Baltimore with a tactical nuke in the heart of Baltimore City, or the heart of Washington D.C., or the heart of like Roanoke, Virginia, or somewhere, more than likely the whole city would be unlivable at that point. And you should hope that you die in the first strike, that you die immediately at that point. But the good news is, if you get hit with like I said, if they strike a city like D.C. or Baltimore or New York, Manhattan, whatever, you know, a half a mile radius, I think I got to check that. Don't quote me on that. You're dead. But the rest of the city, you can go on like nothing happened, like Americans tend to do. They're oblivious to what's going on in the world. So you'll just get hit with a hypersonic. It'll wipe out maybe a half a mile radius. And then the rest of the motherfuckers can just go back to, you know, being the oblivious consumers that you are, right? Until those conventional weapons turn into nuclear warheads, right? So, you know, you're good. So when those conventional Kinzhal hypersonics strike New York or whatever, or D.C. or Baltimore or, you know, Virginia or Florida or Puerto Rico, then you can get the fuck out of the city. You got a chance to run. You see? You could be like, oh my goodness, right? Like a normie, right? A normie, right? A motherfucker who, you know, they always tell you, I don't want to hear this shit, you know, whatever, you know those type of people. They'll hang up the phone on you, or they're like, yeah, I don't talk to this person, or whatever. You know, they're just like some real, you know, brain dead motherfuckers. When that shit happens, they'll be like, huh, yeah, maybe I need to get the fuck out of here, right? It'll be time to leave. Now, if you don't leave, then, and they escalate it to nuclear strikes, the next thing you will hear will be a flat line. You'll wake up and, you know, if you're just like, oh, they struck that area, oh, such and such got killed, whew, that wasn't a nuke, yeah. And you say, okay, I'm gonna just chill, you know, relax. And you don't leave and they escalate it, the next thing you hear is the voice of Jesus at the pearly gates saying, welcome. But most of the people in America, they won't hear Jesus at the pearly gates or whatever. They'll be hearing Satan, like, welcome, motherfucker. I've been expecting you, you bitches. Right? I know I play too much, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. So if you somebody that's smart and you kind of like, when you see the conventional weapon strike and you like, oh, I'm still here. I'm not evaporated, right? Or whatever, right? I'm not feeling sick from nuclear fallout. Then you'll probably be packing your bags to get the fuck out of Dodge. So that's what I mean. Like, so there's some good news and some bad news, right? The bad news, and then back to the bad news. The bad news is you're definitely gonna get hit. You know, that's the bad news. Like the people who you bootleg don't give a shit about you, and they'll let you get hit with conventional weapons. Definitely, they're not gonna pump the brakes. Because he said conventional, they'll risk that. They'll be like, well, fuck it. We can, you know, conventional. Oh, we're just going to a bunker or something. Fuck it. Keep pushing the line, right? Then we don't give a shit about, you know, I don't know, the 20,000 people that's going to get killed in conventional strikes. We don't care about those people. We're just going to our bunkers. And if we, you know, then, you know, since he said it's going to be conventional, well, that's awesome. We'll risk these 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people dying in these conventional strikes, and we'll just keep pushing the line. So, because they have that attitude about you, they don't give a damn about you, your children, nobody. They'll risk it. See, you gotta understand the psychology of people that you're dealing with. You're dealing with the Satan, the Antichrist. These are his, you know, foot soldiers. You think they give a fuck about you? They care nothing about their self or you. These people are maniacs, right? They're basically like, you know, they're just maniacs. They don't care. So, I mean, look what they did to those people in Gaza. If they let 40 to 100,000 of them get killed, what you think they care? What they gonna do to you? You think they give a fuck if you get killed? They slaughtered, I think, about 20,000 children, babies with heads blown off, babies in trees. They bombed hospitals to the ground. churches, mosques, everything. And killed like I say, about 15,000 children. If they did that to 15,000 children, you don't think they would let 20,000 people, 50,000 people in the United States get killed? Because they don't give a shit about you, and they want to keep poking the Russian bear in the eye just because they think they bad motherfuckers, and nobody mess with us, right? This ain't motherfucking 1950, and they haven't figured it out. So, yeah, so the Russians, they're going to run a special military operation.
Just content with that. He's also going for a show of force. Russia is sending combat vessels to the Caribbean Sea, to America's doorstep. Russia will participate in naval exercises in the Caribbean, along with Cuba and possibly Venezuela. Russian aircraft may also be deployed in the region and won't stop there. Here is what US officials have said, and I'm quoting, "We anticipate that this summer Russia will conduct heightened naval and air activity near the United States. These actions will culminate in a global Russian naval exercise this fall."
Yeah, so if it's anything like you ever wanted to do, you know what I mean, that was on your bucket list, you probably should do it. You know I am. I'm going to do some shit that, have some fun, do some stuff I haven't, always wanted to do. Maybe take that little trip, right? Particularly to the Caribbean. It's safe to say it won't be safe in the Caribbean after August, July, August. You know what I mean? You don't want to be down in that area. There's going to be shit down there popping off, right? Definitely don't take a vacation to Cuba. I would stay out of Cuba and maybe Colombia, Venezuela, because all them areas is close to like Colombia, Venezuela, all that shit close. You know how they do. They'll miss their target. They'll shoot the missile at Venezuela and the shit go off target and hit Colombia. It's across the border, right? Land in Bogota somewhere. Or they'll try to strike Cuba and the shit land in the Dominican Republic by mistake, Like, sorry about that. They don't give a shit about nobody, So, because if they did, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. Now they're getting ready to get a special military operation ran on America, right? He said, I live in America. This ain't possible. Okay, Mr. Oblivious, Captain Oblivious. This could never happen, right? Hey, sorry about all that, which I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a damn about these people either. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? So I can dig it. I don't give a damn about humanity. Like Scott Ritter said, I'm tired of warning people. Right? I'm tired of talking to people. I don't give a damn about humanity in the United States. Right? I know. They never even said, hey, sorry about all that slavery and apartheid and Jim Crow. Hey, nigga, we're sorry about all that kind of stuff. No, you're not. You're not sorry about that. But hey, we don't give a fuck about your no reparations. We giving money to Ukraine, and we gonna give some money to some Ukrainian Nazis, right? And we gonna give some money to some Zio Nazis in Israel, 15 billion a year, and we gonna let them slaughter 100,000 people, right? We don't give a fuck about no Jim Crow around here, savvy. We don't give a fuck about no slavery and stuff like that. Get out here, nigga. Really? Yeah, I don't give a fuck about humanity. Right? We gonna give billions of dollars to these immigrants come across the border. Oh, really? Yeah, we're gonna give them billions of dollars. Oh, okay. How about reparations for African American descendants of slaves? Man, fuck you niggas. Stop begging. Oh, begging now. Begging is it? Yeah. That's right. Okay, G. Gotcha. Yeah, I don't give a fuck about humanity. Right? Good luck with the special military operation. Right? Hope you enjoy it. Right? Hope you enjoy it. Hopefully, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm not a real bad guy. I got some heart. Right? I got some heart for the sheeple. The people, I mean. Hopefully you die in the first strikes. You know what I mean? I don't like to see people suffer. Hopefully you die in the first strikes. So there is something good for you. I wish something good on people, right? Not a total, like the Joker and shit. I'm not a total, total just bad guy, right? Super villain. But sometimes it's better to be a super villain. You know? I think sometimes love is overrated. Sometimes better to be feared and respected than loved. That's what I learned by watching them blow Martin Luther King head off and Malcolm X and different people. Right? That a good man is not necessarily a rich man is one example. And two, fear and respect is better than love. When people fear and respect you, they're not going to cross you as easily, right? When they don't fear and respect you, they'll do anything to you. But if they, like when they say they love you, like a woman, right? Like the Bible says there's no wickedness above that of women, right? A shameless woman is a dog, amen? If a woman claims she loves you, you will come home and find her having sex with your cousin in your bed, in your house that you pay the mortgage on and rent, right? If she says she love you. If she says she love you, she'll freak off with some dude in a car and you'll catch her. If she says she love you. She'll fuck over your children, right? She'll fuck over your children and tell them all kinds of shit like, fuck your father. He ain't shit anyway. No matter whether you paid child support, she was neglectful, all kinds of things, right? But if a woman fear that you will hurt her on sight, she'll do none of that. I'm not, condoning violence against women. I'm just saying, if you come across as a man who people can, do things to and walk off unscathed, when they ain't sure about that, you're like, I don't know about doing that to him. If he come in here in this house and we in here and I'm giving you a BJ, he not that kind of guy. Like, I don't want to play with him like that. He might knock your motherfucking wig off in here. So you know what? Let's not do that. If we're gonna do it, we better do it somewhere else, behind like some security and locked doors where he can't get in. Because if he walk in this house, right? He walk in this motherfucker, and we in here, getting it in. I already know how he get down. One, he carry weapons. Two, he just ain't that kind of guy. This could go either way. So we're not gonna do that. See, the bitch got a little bit of fear of you. Women nowadays don't fear men. That's why they come home. You be like, I love you too. You leave, go for work, you come back home. She in there with Jerome from the job, getting her back blown out. And you walk in talking about, I can't believe this is happening. You probably crying and shit. Right? Because you love her and she says she love you. But if you ask that woman, do she fear or respect that man? Not at all. Because she would have been scared to death to be in there doing that. That's what I just want to give an example, right? Better to be feared and respected than to be loved. People just won't, they just won't do certain things to you. So much for love, right? And humanity. Get ready for the special military operation coming to a neighborhood near you, and you better hope it's conventional before it's nuclear. Right? But it is coming. Right? That's all I got.